Welcome back to the channel, guys. As you saw in that last video, we are going to be working on the white 500 SL, and we're going to be trying to roll these fenders. I've never done it before. I picked up a cheap Amazon fender roller that I think is made in China. We're going to try to put it together and roll these fenders, so let's get going. Well, as expected, the instructions are kind of useless. They're all ripped up, but what I can do is probably just jump online, go watch a video real quick, get this thing put together. So let's go ahead and do that. And she's put together. Now, of course, I had to do this off camera, but I watched a bunch of videos on how to put this together, and I gotta say the instructions absolutely tell you nothing. And it's not that difficult. You just have to know where each piece goes. And there's a lot of different variations in this. So this was one I bought on Amazon. I think I paid 50 bucks for it, so it was on the cheaper end, and they're all over the place. And if you watch videos or you look at reviews, they're all over the place too. Some people say they got a great one, some people say they got a terrible one. And I was just looking through them and picked one randomly that had good reviews. And the hardware on this seems to be way better than some of the ones that I was watching people put together. Some of the washers and spacers and just like the bolts. The paint looks really good. There's no rust like I've seen. The welds, not perfect, but they're definitely better than a lot of people's welds. You know, you can see some bubble in there, but it looks like everything's gonna hold up. It looks like it's put together really well and wasn't just tossed in a box that somebody had returned. So I think I got very fortunate. I'll leave a link to this, but I can't guarantee you're gonna get the perfect one like I did. I think this one is probably one of the best ones I've seen that people put on the internet. So I'm very excited about that. With that said, let's go ahead and take our front wheel off. And this is not a tutorial video. Obviously, I didn't show you how to put this together, but I will leave a link to a video that does. And I'm gonna try to show you guys the steps. I've never done this before, so it's not a tutorial, not a this is how you do it. From what I understand, this just takes time, and the more you do this, the better you get, but we're gonna try to be really good the first time. So let's get set up. I'm gonna grab a heat gun, and we're gonna start rolling this out slowly and then eventually pulling out the fender. All right, guys, so I think I've got everything set up right. In order to tighten this as we get going, we're gonna turn this counterclockwise, and we're gonna be rotating this wheel as the lip kind of pulls in. The first thing we need to do, though, is make sure we heat this up nicely so that our metal becomes softer, we don't crack the paint. Although we're probably gonna end up repainting or wrapping this entire car because the paint's not perfect, but I don't want to create any more issues. So let's go ahead and get this thing heated up. I got my heat gun here, and we'll go ahead and get it heated up, and I'll kind of fill you in as we go. And like I said, it's not a tutorial video. This is the first time I've ever done it, but it's always nice to kind of show you the process of somebody who's never done this before and how easy it might be or how difficult it might be. So let me get set up. All right, so quick fill-in. Obviously, I told you guys this is my first time ever doing it. For some reason, the wheel stopped spinning, and I don't know if I jammed it up just because I was doing something improper, but I want to try to get more of an angle to pull this fender out, and unfortunately, we got a little bit of waviness right here. Very hard to see, but there's some slight indentation. I think we can kind of bang this back out, smooth it out. If I have to, I can have somebody from a dent removal place get that as perfect as possible. But you're just gonna run into those things, especially if it's your first time doing it. So right now what I'm gonna do is try to loosen up this because my wheel's not spinning. And see why. But I think it has something to do with the way that, oh, there it goes, now it's freeing up. I think I've somehow bent the casing for it into the wheel. So, all right, now it seems to be moving a lot smoother. I'm gonna lubricate it and hopefully we can get this thing to actually roll instead of doing what it's doing. All right, guys, now we can go ahead and test it out. Now, if you don't know, the springs on the front of this are from the hydraulic system springs, and I went ahead and put standard shocks on here, so I do need to get heavier springs, so you're gonna see it's gonna slam down. So that's not gonna be the normal ride height. I mentioned in past videos, we're gonna be doing a nice set of coilovers, but I wanna try to get the fitment as good as possible before ordering those in. Wow, way better. It's obviously still touching the tire right here. So I might want to work along here. What I'm going to do is mark that so I can more heavily work in this area here. Well, guys, I gotta say that was pretty darn successful. We now have full motion with our wheel. And keep in mind, this is gonna be a little bit higher. I'm not planning on driving it around this slammed, but I do wanna have it lowered. So this is nice that I can have full motion of the wheel without hitting the tire. That means if I go up a little bit, we should be completely fine. And it looks great. Now, let me fill you in on some of the things that I learned along the way. Now, it's probably similar to what everyone out there is gonna tell you, and it's just keep adding heat, move slowly, and learn the tool. You know, at first I had the tool set up wrong, and I think that's what created a little bit of this, because I had it angled to be able to fold the lip in, and what I really learned was, this is something I don't think anybody out there really mentioned on the videos I watched, is it's a lot easier to bend in the lip with a rubber mallet and heat than it is to try to use the tool. Once I had that bent in, obviously to pull the fender correctly, you're gonna need your fender roller. So this is what I'm gonna do on the other side. I'm gonna heat it all up, bang in our lip, and then use that fender roller to really get this fender stretched out so I don't create any of this light waviness. Now this should be easy to straighten up. I might have to pay somebody to do it, but I have a little experience with it, so I'll try to heat it up and gently bang it out. You can see right here, there's a slight little dimple. So nothing crazy though, nothing you can see from a little bit away. Now this side, I don't know if you can tell the difference, but there's quite a difference in what we were able to pull out there. So on this side, this is where most of the damage occurred when the shock slammed while driving. So I'm gonna really have to bang this lip all the way up, and then we'll just start heating it and rolling it. So I'm gonna do that off camera because I just want to show you guys one side of this, and it's obviously a tedious task. My arms are hurting, I'm not gonna lie. This was a great workout. My back hurts, my arms hurt, so I might be out of commission for a day or two, but nothing a little rest and relaxation can't fix. So I'm sure some of you are wondering what tires these are, what this project is, because if you're new to the channel and you happen to click on this video, you have no idea probably what I'm doing here. So what I have here are Heritage 3-piece rims. They are 11 inches wide, and I think it's a positive 15 offset. I will put that on the screen now so you guys know exactly what they are. This is a 1991 Mercedes r129 500 SL, and we originally had a wide body project that I was doing with these rims, and I decided to kind of scratch the direction I was going with that and go back to the original direction I wanted to go, which was kind of mirroring the Rentec 500 SL that came out in the 90s. And so what I came up with is just to go straight with these rims, no spacers, and we originally had some pretty wide spacers and a very wide kit I was making. And since we're going to be parting out the original car we were doing the body kit on, what I want to do is mirror the front and rear of this car, and I came up with an idea. So obviously, Mercedes made that front a lot wider than this rear, and I'm not sure why, but I really like the look of it, but I would love to see more like the Rentec style where it's almost identical front and back. So what I came up with is to cut this front fender. Now this has some Vaseline on there because I was trying to make a fiberglass mold to test it out, and I did, and I love the way it looks. So we're gonna go cutting this out because I want metal arches on this car, and then we're going to have this welded in here and get the car either repainted or wrapped, but that will give it a mirrored look just like the Rentec kind of style had to it. And this way we don't have to have a wide body, full massive wide body kit on here, but we are going to attempt to build a slimline body kit that we can try to put on here, and that way I can decide whether I want to do it or not, and I don't have to give up on the wide body project altogether, because I really enjoy doing it and I think it's going to look really great. But for everyday driving, I just want to have this capable of having these rims on here looking nice and clean and good, and there's a possibility we'll throw the body kit on there in the end. So let's go back up front. So a lot of people want to know, is the paint going to crack, chip, peel? That can happen, definitely. There's a high risk of that, and if I can get up under here, you'll see I got a little bit there. Now this is nice compared to something on the outside because I can touch that up with some white paint. If I wasn't going to repaint this car, I think I'm actually going to wrap it. But if we weren't going to do that, I'm still going to do that just so that no rust gets created, because if you ever have any paint chip peel off, you definitely want to cover it. Now that whole inner lip needs to be coated as well, so I'm going to basically prime that, and then we'll finish off this side. So once again, guys, you have an awesome day, a blessed week, and I hope you learned a little bit on this video, because I know I did. See you guys on the next one.